Am I missing somebody? Or is
I didn't realize there was
yet?
there was some shit going on tonight, so I'll be around for a bit, but I don't know how long I can be for.
That's alright. Okay. I guess,
Gambit. Wait. Oh, I guess I can
we're
still
not
invite
actually
him.
playing, we're just walking around the map.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
I still want to invite Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him. Gambit, what's your tag?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I'm logging in. I was in another account.
I will protect the innocent.
Okay. Thank you.
What a weird phenomenon it is to have alt accounts.
It really makes such a difference, though. Like, you can try out other shit without endangering your actual SR. It really helps.
Yeah, my DPS alt is not great.
I only ask that you please don't kill me because I have to show you shit. And I can't do that if I'm walking back from the spawn. Okay. Alright, I also can't show you shit if I'm sleeping.
Toxic.
Alright, so let's talk about defense first.
Excuse me for
Standard defense comp for Gibraltar, you're gonna want modified die. So it's gonna be Winston Diva. You can probably run Mercy, and then you have a couple of options for the DPS. So you can do Vara's not the worst, but I would probably go with Widowmaker or Soldier, depending on whichever we're stronger with.
Wait, is Mike working?
Who's Mike? Can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Probably
I can hear you.
Okay.
Him?
Someone's messaging me.
Pilot.
They say my mic is working. Pilot.
Oh, never mind, it was me. What the fuck? That's weird.
Wait, is my mic still working? Son of a bitch. Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
I'm having this weird fucking bug with Discord where I just, like, lose everybody in voice.
Yeah, like me last night.
Yeah, that's what just happened to me, yeah.
Can you hear, like, a buzzing sound before it happens?
I
No.
remember a buzzing sound. I remember it got all, like, robot-y. Like, super robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were talking and then just cut out, so I didn't know if, I thought it was your mic, but then I was like, no one's talking, so it's probably me.
Alright, I think Discord is fucked. I don't know. Anyway, so we have a few options for DPS, as I was saying. You want probably a Widowmaker or a Soldier, because they're both very strong on the high ground, and they're great for being damage boosted by Mercy. And they're also great targets for Mercy to fly to when she's feeling in danger. And then on defense, I'd probably also run a Zenyatta, but you could probably get away with just about every other support. Anna might be a little weak, Moira might be a little weak. But,
Okay.
so I guess that's
Moira being weak here just because, like, the up and down, right? Because, like, the high ground.
Yeah, exactly. There's too much high ground, she really can't work with that.
Yeah,
Zenyatta's- I would probably go with Mercy Zenyatta for our supports. And then for our DPS, we probably want, like, a Soldier or a Widowmaker. And then you could go Genji. You might even be able to get away with Sombra. A little bit of flexibility there. You could maybe do Tracer. She also kind of struggles with all this high ground, though. So one thing I noticed in past scrims is that you guys kind of recognize where you're supposed to be holding more or less on defense, in that you're supposed to be up on this platform. But you don't know why you're supposed to be up here. So the reason we're supposed to hold up here is really you're supposed to be in, like, here, where I'm standing right now.
Okay.
Can anybody see me?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so I want you guys kind of like in here-ish, or here. And the reason for that is they're gonna come out of their spawn, and they're gonna start pushing the cart. And
I
what
will
you
not
can
waste
do,
this opportunity.
what you can do as dive tanks is you can just kind of poke your head out, see what's going on, or your DPS can tell you what's going on. And if you see an opportunity, like, I don't know, a Zenyatta or whatever pushing the cart, you can just drop down on his head and kill his ass. And then, you know, initiate
Without
the
using
dive, like,
mobility
right
also.
here, just under the bridge. And you haven't committed any cooldowns to it, so that...
So we can
if they-
escape super easy.
Exactly. If things start to get hairy, you can just knock your way back up here, and you're fine. Come back to your healers, and get healed up, and go for the next contest. Now, this whole first area here, before the tunnel and even in the tunnel, is not really that great for holding. So what you'll see a lot of plat teams doing is they'll kind of just, like, sit up here and try and spam down on the cart. But honestly, it's not really worth the trouble. Where you really want to hold is back here. So, like, the top of this this little hill here, I guess, inside the tunnel. This is a very defensible location. You've got a corner, you've got a mini right here. You can take the high ground advantage depending on what you've got going on, and they don't really have many options left. You also have that high ground back there where you can plop your soldier or your widowmaker with your damage boosted mercy. There are a lot of options. We'll cover that in just a second. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about for the first section of this first point.
Clearing the area.
So if you guys just come on back, guess I'll finish eating later.
Food is for the weak.
So, the standard traditional place to hold is where I described up on that bridge. But what we've been seeing emerging in a few, like, contenders teams, tier 3 teams, whatever, is actually taking a hold right in here on this mega. So the trick to this is you have to do it sneakily, so you have to either, like, wrap around the backside there and come in
So they don't
through
see
this
you going
door.
in, right?
Yeah, so they don't see you, and you have to crouch walk. Well, everybody except Diva has to crouch walk, so they don't hear you. You come in here sneaky, and you hide, and then you wait to see the icon that indicates that they're pushing the cart, and you give it, like, a second or two, so that they push it to, like, maybe where our Diva's standing, maybe even a little closer, like here. And then you all come out and kill fucking everybody. You murder them. So you come out and you kill, like... You have to be quick. You have to find your target very quickly, so like a Zenyatta. And the reasoning for that is, if you win the fight, awesome, you've won a fight and you've delayed them a significant amount of time. And if you lose the fight, it's not really a big deal. Because as I mentioned, this whole first portion of the map is really not all that great for defense. It's not that defensible. So you will have respawned in time to regroup at the part you actually want to defend back here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I get
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't think we should even touch that bottom right room until we are better communicating our dive targets. By we, I mean I.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I noticed is, like, you're pretty decent about picking that first target, like, 70-80% of the time. But then the first target dies, and there's, like, a few seconds of dead air where you're hunting around and looking for that next target. And it's basically got to be instantaneous for it to work. So it's something to think about.
A thing that I've noticed about just my dive target is also just ahead of, like, watching and, like, grading myself, essentially, is I choose that initial target, and then I wait, and then I wait, and then I wait, and I say, okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, and this is something that Jane was talking about last night, right?
Yeah.
Where the pace of play is just slow. And I think he brought it up today as well on stream, where it's like, as you get into higher and higher SRs, you'll find that the pace of play just continually increases until, like, the team fights are basically constant. Like, there's almost no break between action. So, something to think about. Anywho, so that's like the first defense, right? Either up here on the bridge, and then you drop down to contest cart, and they get under you, and then you can leave back if you have to. Or in that little fuck room over there, where you come out and take them by surprise and kill everything. So now over here, there are a couple places we can hold here. Generally speaking, if you have the luxury of doing so, where you're standing right now is an okay place, but it's not great because they can contest you up there. They can come up here, they can come through the stairs, they can come up, you know, they can come up a variety of different ways and give you a hard time. You don't really have all that much cover, so you're probably going to be forced to retreat. So where you want to be holding, at least your tanks anyway, it's kind of like up here. So you use this blue box for cover, and you can poke your head out and see what you see, and you can deny them this area, this high ground. So your Winston can kind of just like zap things up here, and then if he starts getting in danger, he can back off, back to cover. His D.Va can kind of rotate with him, right? So Winston zaps and takes some damage, and he backs up a little bit. And then D.Va steps forward and does some damage and takes some damage, and then by then Winston will hopefully be healed up and can rotate back in.
The aggro ping pong?
Aggro ping pong, exactly. So, so you want to be holding up here because you can deny them the high ground. And you can even potentially find an engaged target from up here. So if they start pushing the cart under you, you can do the same thing where you drop down and engage on whoever's pushing the cart, and then you can leap back if you have to.
Right.
So you want to position your tanks like here-ish. Meanwhile, you want to have your Mercy with your Widowmaker or Soldier, whichever you're more comfortable on. I'd probably say Soldier is a safer bet, unless you're actually, like, a decent Widow. You want to be, like, up here. So you've got these huge sweeping sight lines, you see, like, the whole map, you can cover your tanks over there. Theoretically, you could fall back in here. It's a little bit weak because you could very easily get killed and cut off. I kind of like back here a little bit more for retreat. Or over there, depending on how far they push the cart.
Okay.
And let's see, who am I forgetting? If you're running like Genji, he can just be off in Narnia, right? He can be like over here, he can be over... Server room is kind of an iffy place to hold. Just be aware that you can get really fucked if you stay in server. You can get cut off from your team. But like, if they're pushing the cart and they're not contesting you, any opportunity you get to create a crossfire is awesome. So for example, if you have the Widowmaker up here and the tanks over here, and the tanks are zapping from the high ground down, or shooting from the high ground down onto you, and the Widow is over here shooting down onto the cart, you've created like a, what would you call it, like a 90-degree crossfire. You throw a Genji or a Sombra or whoever. I kind of like Sombra for here because this Mega is awesome to have hacked. And that Mini over there is also excellent.
Okay.
It's personal preference, right? But you can create an additional crossfire. Excuse me, an additional crossfire over here. Okay. So that's this point, and then when they get over here, there's like inevitably just a giant clusterfuck of a fight. You know the drill about dying on cart, we've talked about it. And also recognize that once they've captured this point, there's a substantial amount of time that it takes for this door to open, and the cart to actually move through it automatically. So don't feel like you need to keep fighting over that. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that once they've captured this point and the cart starts moving through this door and gets to about, I think, here-ish, that door closes behind it. And that is an opportune moment to win a fight. The reason being that this 4-door choke is one of the strongest places to hold in the entire game. So if you contest the cart too early, before it, like once it started moving through the choke, but the doors haven't closed yet, and you win the fight then, the doors stay open, and they'll have this big fucking door. And and they'll have a relatively easy time pushing through and getting to the cart again. So if you delay by like a second to contest, the door will close behind them, and if you win the fight, you've got yourself a really nice advantage. Let's see. If you didn't already know, up here on top of the spaceship is the best place for Winston and D.Va to hold, because again, you've got that opportunity to like drop down if you see a vulnerable target and jump back if you need to. Or, for that matter, jump further onto the target if they decide to try running away. And again, I really just love Sombra on this map. So like, you can hack that Mega in there, is a nice place to be. And if you're running a Soldier, Soldier can also get up here, or Widowmaker or whatever. So if you have a Mercy up here pocketing the Widow or Soldier, and you have the tanks up here either looking for a dive target or just enabling that Widow and Soldier, Widow/Soldier, you can do a lot of work. You can basically rain hell down upon them. You can also make space, so like, find a dive target, get on them, create chaos, and make it so that nobody's looking at the Widowmaker or Soldier. I'm just gonna call it Soldier from now on, for the sake of brevity.
Yeah.
For Winston here, I can't do anything. I can't like shoot down at them, honestly. I can't reach them. So I'm just looking for someone to drop on, essentially. I'm a drop bear.
Basically. And you can also deny this high ground too, by the way. So like, if they try and take the spaceship, so they try and come up in here, you can zap down on them on this bridge. But yeah, you would... Again, this is the sort of thing where you want to look for an opportunity to take a fight and win it. Somewhere on the cart, or ideally before they can get to the cart. So like, let's say the cart is here, and you've won a fight, so they're coming back in. You can try and take a fight like here, or whatever.
Yeah.
In this area, if you find a good opportunity, a good opening.
Right.
But take it before they can make it to the cart. That's the best chance for you. The second best is taking it on the cart. And then, if you're running a Zen here, positioning is tough. I don't have many great answers for you. I would probably suggest you position back here by the boxes and be extremely vocal to your Mercy or to your tanks that you need help if you need help. So like, keep your eyes peeled. If you even smell a tracer trying to make a flank, you have to communicate that and start screaming for help, because you're basically on your own out here, unless your Mercy decides to come and help you. So like, here, back here, there really aren't a whole lot of great options. There's a mini back there that you can take advantage of if the fight gets really advanced, so like they start pushing the cart around here-ish. Yeah. There's the mini in Spaceship as well, but I don't like holding in Spaceship as Zen. It scares me. Maybe over here, where I'm standing right now.
So through this whole defense stage, are the tanks should try and like get Spaceship as much as we can?
Yeah.
Okay.
High ground is so valuable. It makes such a difference, and this is really good high ground. And mind you, you can drop down on people from the top of Spaceship on this side, but you can also drop down from this side as well, if it gets this far. I'm going to trust that our DPS know how to get up on top of Spaceship and climb on top of these boxes here.
Understood. Understood. I seem to have...
Anybody can get on top of it.
Yeah, anybody can get up there. Not everybody should. Oh, another thing to keep in mind is, when they push through these doors, so like they've capped this first point, and they're coming through, if they've killed a few of you, you're gonna get shit spawns. So you could be respawning here, and you are basically free and easy pickings for their team if they have the sense to push up. My suggestion is either die quickly so that you can reset with your team, or you can, if you're really feeling ambitious, try and take a long flank and rotate through this door out the backside. It might give you a little bit more longevity. It honestly depends on how well positioned the rest of your team is. So if your tanks, let's say, are already in position, they're on the spaceship, and it's just you as Zenyatta or Mercy or whatever coming out with shit spawn, I would say rotate and take the long flank. But if it's like all of your team is dead and 3 of you got the back spawn, so like way back there, and it's just the Zenyatta or the Mercy or the Monkey or whatever, just hurry up and die. You're not gonna survive.
Yeah.
They're just not gonna win. If they're small.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the Tracer player, they don't really need to go to the high ground, right? They just need to keep harassing the backline.
Well, I don't think we should really be running Tracer on defense on this map.
Okay, okay.
If you were to do it, high ground isn't terrible because you can deny the enemy the opportunity to take high ground, but you're not really gonna thrive up here. You're probably not gonna find many targets that you can deal with.
So it's gonna be like Soldier, Widow, and Genji?
Soldier and...
I mean, Sombra can basically, if you're running a Sombra, she can basically be fucking anywhere. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sombra, right.
Yeah.
Wait, so... Sorry.
No, go
if
ahead.
If we're in defense, where would our supports be on this, like, is it up there with us, or...?
The Mercy is going to be pocketing your long-range hit scan, be it Soldier or Widow, as I've said. Zenyatta is going to be out in Narnia, like by these boxes, probably, depending on where that card is, or where I'm standing right now. If you're
where are you
looking
right now?
for a more aggressive hold, I'm the Pharah. So
okay, yeah.
The nice part, the nice
so
part.
There's going to be like a. Sorry. There's going to be like a. Oh,
go ahead.
So there's going to be like a core of like 4 people on top of the ship, and then like 2 other people trying to do like their own thing, kind of?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, okay. Just trying to make sure.
But the Mercy has to be flexible and aware, rotate where you're needed. Ideally, your resting position should be blue beaming your long-range hit scan, but if somebody else is in need of healing, you should. I mean, don't go out and commit suicide. Like, if your monkey is in critical health this far, and there are 6 people on him, he's dead. Don't sacrifice your life to try and save him. But
we all know what's gonna happen, also. So
yeah. So, but if he's like here, and he's half health, you can drop a little bit. You can drop to like this bridge and heal him from up here, and then ask your Widow or Soldier to come peek you so that you can get back up. Or whatever.
So, inversely, we should be aware of where our healer is at any time to try and get in a better position for them to heal us.
I mean, it certainly helps. Your healers will definitely appreciate you more for it. You want to make them friendly. So I would say you've got a couple of kinds of holds on this point. You can take an aggressive hold, so I would place your Zen like here. The reasoning being, you have the cover. You can withdraw into this little room. You've got a mega down here, but you do sacrifice your high ground positioning if you drop to it, so you're in danger. You can also rotate in here to cover, and you've got the mini in here, and you're not far from the core of your team. So just make sure that you take advantage of the walls, and you scream at your team if it looks like somebody is coming to you. Mercy, you've got to be very, very aware of your Zen. So that's the aggressive positioning. This is when you want to take an early fight, like they've just pushed the cart through the doors and you're ready to get in there now. But if you're not regrouped and they've gotten a lot of distance or whatever, you want to take a slightly more passive hold. So I would still put your core up here. You might want to rotate your hit scan back to like where Scare Bear is right now. For a more passive hold. And I would probably place the Zen like here-ish. Or here-ish. But the tanks would probably still be fighting for the top of the spaceship if you have the opportunity. If you don't have the opportunity, you can also place them up here where I'm spamming rockets now.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a fluid thing, right? you know, what's the quote? Positioning has context. So, like, these are good general positions, but if they give you reason to move to another position, don't be afraid to take it. Alright, so that's this point.
Clearing the area.
And similarly to the last point, if you get shit spawns, like in here, once they've captured this point, just jump off the cliff. Like, literally, make a beeline for this cliff and get out of there.
Okay.
Never die.
Unless you've got, you know, crazy mobility. I mean, like, if you're playing against weak teams, they might not punish you, but a strong team will absolutely be pushing up and killing your ass. So, make of that what you will. Like, even if you're a Winston and you have your leap so you can get to, like, here, they should still be chasing you and killing you. So, something to think about. Really, that's another thing where it's contextual, right? If you have mobility and it seems like they haven't decided to push up while you got shit spawn, then you can try and make a break for it. But the worst case scenario is like, you're a Zenyatta and you're just kind of slowly floating your way over here, and you make it to like this corner, and then their tracer comes and one-clips you.
Dude,
Yeah, that's like, that's a big stagger. You don't want that, because now, speaking of defensible points, right, like this corner is the best place for holding. But if you die as you're making your way from shit spawn to here, you've denied your team the opportunity for a 6v6 fight at this corner, and you're going to have to take it like here or here when you've respawned, which is not so great. Where to position? You want to put your long-range hit scan like up here where I'm standing right now, again pocketed by the Mercy. You want to place your tanks. You could probably, if you're going for an aggressive hold, so again if you want to try and take an early fight, you can place your tanks up here. If you're looking for a more passive hold, you would probably place it with your hit scan. And for the aggressive hold, I would probably put the Zen, like, at this corner, or even at that mini over there, so, like, you could be chilling in here, and you can rotate back to this mini. You can chill over here, even. This has a really nice sightline, it has a mini, it's got a route of
Shouldn't the Zen stay up top with
What's
the hit
that?
scan, though?
Hey.
Shouldn't the Zen stay up top with the hit scan, maybe? No, because that's where the Mercy will be.
There are a couple of reasons not to do that. One, you're super exposed. Like, you're in a big open space. You can put your Zen up here and, like, just have him abuse this cover here and spam this way. But the other reason I don't like that is because generally Zen is at a little bit of a disadvantage when he's on the high ground. I'm not sure how I can explain this easily, but you're more likely to hit right clicks if you are on the same vertical axis as your target. If
Yeah,
you are
path
on
of travel, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So you're less likely to hit it if you're shooting down. But high ground is powerful. I'm not saying this is a bad place to put your Zen. You could do it. I wouldn't complain about it if you did. But your routes of egress are a little bit more limited, and if your Mercy decides she doesn't love you anymore, you're basically on your own. Down here you have a mini, you have a lot of cover. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Get back.
Let's see, what else?
Whoa, I made it.
And, you know, again, holding this corner is super duper powerful. So if you decide to transition from dive for whatever reason, I would probably be inclined to keep dive here. But if you do decide to go to like Ryan Zari or whatever, this is your corner. Same thing with Orisa Hawk.
Gotcha.
I probably would not advise it just because this map has so much high ground, and you know, the only things that can get high ground is dive, basically.
Yeah.
Until they give Ryan that vertical mobility that is so desperately needed.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Alright, let's talk about attack now.
Got a jetpack.
Get back.
I don't think there's too much to say with attack that I haven't already covered. This is
Well, you were
basically-
covering both pretty much simultaneously.
Yeah. Let me just start over and see if there's anything I missed, and we'll run through it really quick. For attack, pharmacy is not bad. I like it better than on defense. If you don't run pharmacy, you could run full dive.
later.
I'm not sure if I would.
Enemy seen.
I'd probably want. Ah.
Okay,
Well.
see ya.
All right. Fine.
One more lasted.
Does anybody have any questions, by the way?
Nope, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it sounded good.
Am I boring you guys?
Nope.
No, I like knowing where to be. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, me too.
Makes me secure.
Dude, I'd like to do this on Anubis.
All right, let's do Anubis now. I think that.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like we should probably finish Gibraltar. Just run through it.
No, yeah, finish Gibraltar, but I'd like to do the same for Anubis for sure.
so is there any situation where we're going to run a Genji on Jib?
You could totally run Genji. Like, you could run him on defense, you could run him on offense. I kind of like Sombra a little bit more for,
Yeah.
either.
This is more
actually.
is more a question directed at our DPS because they would be sort of in control of that pick, right? If they're
I can
comfortable
play
on Genji.
Sombra's fine.
Yeah.
Genji, either one. Or Soldier, like.
Whoever is missing, I don't have you added, so somebody else has to invite you.
It's whiskey.
Oh, it's also me.
Also, you
Pilot.
definitely have me added. No, you don't. I lied.
I can't keep track of Ham's accounts.
Yeah, that's
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Okay.
I will protect the innocent. Move back. Sniper.
So yeah, pharmacy isn't bad. You can
Thanks for
also
the
run.
assist.
A Widowmaker is pretty good here. I probably would not run soldiers. Genji's
On
pretty
attack?
good, Sombra's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, gotcha.
on attack.
This is not
So you get out. You have your DPS scout out where they are. Your dive tanks, first place they want to go is up here, right? So just like on defense, you want it to be able to drop down on the cart. On offense, you want to be up here to deny the defenders the opportunity to drop on the cart. You know.
Right.
And if you're playing Zenyatta in this situation, I'd probably also run Mercy Zen here, unless you're doing full dive, in which case it's Lucio Zen. Your Zenyatta, play smart, right? Like, you want to push the cart, that's ultimately going to be your job, but maybe just like hang out by those boxes for just a second until you know that there's nobody up here waiting to kill you.
Spoiler, there's always someone ready to kill you.
Yeah, probably. What a lot of weaker teams like to do is also stick like a hog in here, which is stupid meme shit and shouldn't ever work.
But we're one of those weaker teams, dude. Should we do that?
Tilted if I see people doing that.
Wait. Why don't we want a Roadhog?
You don't want a Roadhog.
Because we're not a weak team, apparently.
It's stupid.
No, but I can make the reasoning behind Roadhog. being bad.
He gets
He'll get
picks.
stuck there and die.
He feeds or something.
Well, I mean,
This
he gets,
is not your
he
time.
gets frags, but he sacrifices team play for solo killing. It's not really worth it. It's just a meme. It's so dumb. Like, if you have a coordinated team and somebody calls out a Roadhog here, that Roadhog is dead. Plain and simple. They prey on the fact that, like, in solo queue, there is no coordination, so nobody will call him out and nobody will come kill him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
So the smart teams are going to be holding here, like, just before the bridge and trying to drop down. The dumb teams will do what you were doing before and just standing up here because you know that's what you're supposed to do, but you have no idea why.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So you get up here, you deny them the opportunity to take that bridge and drop down on you. And you want to always be fighting for this high ground, trying to prevent the defenders from getting it, but also, again, looking for a target. And it's tough, right? Like,
I might need this later.
you find yourself on this high ground here, you want to be fighting for this blue box area here. So just like defenders want to be over here, attackers want to be, like, over here. Right?
So-
This is a great place to prime and get ready for your next dive.
I've got a
Yeah.
question about this right now. So
Yeah.
we're fighting up here. We're trying to take position of this blue box. That's our goal. What is happening with the cart at this point?
Well,
Because
Zenyatta...
this is what we tried to do last time, kind of. Not well, mind you, but kind of. And our cart just didn't move, ever.
Right. Well, that's kind of one of those situations where you need to win the fight before you can really take advantage of pushing the cart, right?
Werewolves.
So you have to win
So-
a full fight and like actually decisively win it, no trickles in, and then come back with the cart.
I mean,
That rarely happens
It's-
with us, to be completely
yeah.
honest.
it's kind of variable. So I would say you could probably put your Zen down here on the cart and have him pushing as far as he feels is reasonably safe. And then when he starts smelling people coming for him, he'll start backing up. But remember that as attackers, you want to be taking the fight as far away from the cart as you possibly can. So you don't ever want your Zen to feel like he's in danger. You want to be, if like the cart is down here in the tunnel, you want to be like up here fighting with whoever is here. So this is what we're talking about, how you're like 30 seconds behind what you should be doing. This is
Yep.
where you're really going to get punished for it if you continue to remain 30 seconds behind the curve. You need
Yeah.
to be 30 seconds ahead of it. Because if you're slow taking the fight to them, then they're going to take the positional advantage. They're going to take this blue box.
Yep.
And they're going to drop down on your poor Zenyatta pushing the cart because they have the positional advantage. But if you're here before them, which presumably you will be, because hopefully you will have already won the fight that enabled you to push the cart this far.
Yep.
So if you won that fight earlier, then the first thing you should have done as soon as you won the fight is start pushing up here or over there so that you can take the next fight, like, to their spawn instead of on the cart, which is what they want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, I like Sombra here, I like,
Enemigo detectado.
probably maybe Genji or Widowmaker for second DPS. So, Mercy is kinda gonna be babysitting your Zen.
The battle
Am I
continues.
boring you?
I'm out of
No.
No, whiskey killed me,
Oh,
so I couldn't see.
rude.
Dick.
Okay, so that's that point. Pushing forward, we like high ground. So again, top of the spaceship is where you want to end up being.
So we're just fighting for the position essentially that we tried to take on defense.
Yeah,
Everyone's
basically.
fighting for the same position here.
Yeah. Now, mind you, that's, you know, all other things being equal. So, like, you won the last fight, they haven't regrouped yet, you've killed the people who come out of shit spawn, and you're looking for the next thing to do. So during your downtime, while you're trying to posture for the next fight, this is where you want to be posturing.
Right.
So you come up here and you look for people coming back from their spawn, and you try and get them as they're coming through. Right?
Yep.
So basically, everyone that's not long range should be like advancing forward constantly, but everyone that's like kind of long range should be pushing the cart.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like, in a perfect world, your Zenyatta on attack will never see a moment of action. You'll just get a free ride on the cart, and will not have to do a single thing. Or Lucy, or whatever.
Notes.
Alright,
that?
yeah. That sounds
I
good.
said, are you ready for that Japan to not do anything?
Yeah, so I guess my question would be is, why are we running Zenyatta if I'm not going to be engaged in the fight? Like, then you lose Harmony and Discord. And I'm also a sitting duck down there.
Well, you are a little bit of a sitting duck, but hopefully your team will have the sense to come and get you. Like, your Diva can come back and peel for you, your Mercy can come back and heal you, and you, hopefully, will be aware enough to recognize when they're looking at you funny, and they're trying to come for you, and you can start backing off and screaming at your team, and I mean screaming at them to come and help you.
Yeah.
No monkey.
And the reason you run Zenyatta over other things is that, I mean, in a perfect world you won't see any action. In a realistic world you probably will, and Discord is super duper powerful. And your team isn't really going to be able to benefit from a Lucio. Yeah, dive comp doesn't get the same... Again, as I've mentioned multiple times before, right? The purpose of dive is to get kills before you actually need healing. So... Discord Orb really enables you to get those kills super quickly. And also you can leave Harmony on people and be mildly helpful to your team while you're pushing the cart a million miles away from them.
Until I go underneath.
Yeah, well, yeah. They can come back and get Harmony if they really want. Anywho. That's that. And again, like, you gotta be 30 seconds ahead of the curve, so you've captured this door here, right? You want to push through and kill people coming out of shit spawn. Do not let them get away, do not let them kill themselves. They're free ult charge for you, you should have them.
Thanks for the
If you can place a Widowmaker up here, it's very powerful, like a damage boosted Widow. Is sexy. You can do dirty things up here with the damage boosted Widow. Because if you have your tanks creating space, so like your tanks, you know, if they can prime like up here, or if you can manage to take this bridge from them, which is ideal, but if you can't, you can like prime up here or whatever.
enemy seen.
If your tanks can create a fight down here, and your other DPS, like, everybody is creating chaos down here, and you're a half-decent Widow, that's just freedom. Because nobody's gonna contest you, and you can just rain hell down on them. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. I think that's basically it. Any questions?
No, it sounds good in theory.
Okay, next time.
Oh,
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
So, like, if we're like priming the dive, right? Where would you say we would be positioned?
On
Because
this
like a lot,
point,
I felt.
on attack.
Yeah.
It kind
Like
of
when we play
depends.
against like this wall right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just jump up there, if they're up there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I noticed that like we say like, okay, we're gonna dive this target, and then like, I don't know if it's like decision making or what, we all go in the open and get poked down, and then we can't ever dive, or the dive gets botched.
well,
So I'm just gonna try and think of like ideal ways where we can minimize that.
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of something that's up to you to a certain extent, is realizing, you know, what parts of map geometry are going to help you.
Yeah.
Like, as I've already mentioned, positioning has context, so while I might tell you a certain place that you'd like to hold,
I know.
it varies. So, over here in this corner is not a bad place to prime, but a better place is, like, up here. because you have the high ground and you have the freedom to drop down on people, or leap to engage on people, or leap away if you're taking too much damage. Or if you can manage to take this bridge, which is ideal, then you can take a dive over here. It really depends on what they're running and where they're running it.
Yeah. Okay.
Beacon in place. Translocating.
Like,
I am empowered.
if you've won the fight, but the card is still like way back here, if you want to be super sneaky deaky about it, you could be like over here, hiding, and then you let them come forward to try and contest the card, and then you just drop down on their back line over here, depending on where they're positioned. There are a lot of different ways you can play it. It's just kind of something that you experiment with, figure out over time. Any other questions?
Can we go to first point?
Yeah.
Heroes never die. Move back. Behind you. Hi. Hiya. Hi. In the area. See you later.
Okay, so like we're setting up here, right?
Hello.
I'm here as Zen too, right?
Yeah, you want to be like on defense or on attack?
Defense.
Yeah. On defense, you could be like up here, where I just shot a rocket at our mercy, or like over here. And then once they push through, you wanna be like 30 seconds ahead of them as well, right? So like, if they look like they're winning this area, you have to already be out of there. You have to be gone. Like, there's a minimum distance that you always want to maintain between yourself and the other team. So if you're holding back here, it's tough. So like, if you can take the ideal, which is like a fight over here, you can chill on this mini, which is a little bit close. I don't love it. This is probably one of those maps where I would want to be on the high ground, actually.
So like what makes sense to me would be to like retreat through server. Because there's like a mega health pack here, and then you can work your way over to high ground, right?
Yes and no. If nobody is chasing you, then going through server is fine. If somebody is chasing you, or they're like pushing the cart around here, and you're still in server trying to come out while the cart is here, your team is going to be repositioned like here, right? So you're going to die. Because they're going to be here, you're going to be here, and your team is going to be here. You're going to be totally cut off.
Yep.
Which is why server is a very weak place to be. Because it's very easy to get yourself cut off from the rest of your team and die a horrible death.
So then how would I retreat?
It depends. I would probably go out this way. So like through these stairs over here. You got the mini, and you can start backing up through this door over here, back to your spawn, and hopefully regroup with respawners if you absolutely have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thanks for the
And then also, if you have a lot of time, it gives you the opportunity to retreat back and take these stairs and take the high ground.
Yeah. Like in between fights.
Mm-hmm. Don't
I
be
guess
repositioning in the middle of a fight, though, please.
Right. I guess what it always made sense to me would be to, like, because when you're over here, I mean, it just seems so natural to just kind of drop down and then go through server.
It's not the
Like,
worst
as
thing
a
in the
team,
world.
like, as a team, not, like, by myself, but...
Oh.
So, like, in our scrim, like, all our team kind of regrouped, like, over here.
Greetings.
And, like, I was trying to get out through servers.
It's kind of an it's an indirect route though, right? Because if you're holding up here, why do you need to take the long way through, go to the Mega? Like you're taking yourself further from your destination by going in this direction when you want to end up in that direction, you know? Like all
yeah,
other
I guess I
things
kind of
being
thought
equal.
with the Mega being there.
Yeah.
And it's easier access to the high ground.
Well, I mean, you can always just drop down, right? Like, there's a big old cliff here. So you drop down, it brings you that much closer to where you end up. Or where you want to end up. Because you don't want to end up over there, you want to end up, like, here.
But if we're running out of Sombra, shouldn't we, like, work around Megas? I mean, I guess maybe not.
I mean, Megas are powerful, they're useful, they don't build her ult charge anymore, so they're less useful.
Right.
But, the Mega is not enough to justify the position.
Well, Mega and high ground. But whatever.
Well, that's not really high ground, that's like...
Well, not saying this is high ground, but you can keep getting your way over.
Oh, I see what you're saying, working your way up top.
Yeah.
It's...
Let's get you back out there.
It's not the way I would do it, just because it puts the cart between yourself and your respawners. And safety. Like, safety lies in the direction of your spawn, presumably.
There they are.
Because, you know, if you lose a few, you can back off a little bit and wait for those people to respawn and come back to you. But you can't really... You don't get that luxury anymore when you're in server.
Sure. Alright.
Your support has arrived.
So, any other questions?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, next map then.
Yukon, you're such a jerk! I'll kill you.
What map did we want to do? Anubis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anubis sounds good.
Actually, one more question. Like, so if I'm pushing cart and I have people dropping on me, is it okay to, like, use this Mega in this corner here, or is that, like...
This Mega? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
I'm, like, kind of trapped there, so I don't know.
you're definitely trapped, so if you take that Mega, you better hope that your team is going to come help you. If you're the last one alive or whatever, there's not really a point. You're just prolonging your death and staggering yourself further into more ult charge. So, but if you're getting pressured, but your team is also pressuring back, it's not a terrible place to try and fight. Because also it's really good, like if it's just one flanker, like a tracer coming for you, it's really good for you because you get the Mega and you also get the cover. Like you funnel her into this tiny little fuck room where you can just destroy her with a right click.
Alright.
But if it's like a Winston and a D.Va coming to kill you, you're not living if you go that way. Unless your team is coming to save you ASAP pronto.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of why, like, what I was asking earlier, the point of running Zenyatta was I could, like, speed boost myself out of there.
Lucio isn't a terrible choice. The reason I don't
Like, I understand for the rest of the map you would run Zenyatta.
Yeah.
So then, like, you're in a disadvantage on ult.
Exactly. And again, Discords are super powerful, and Lucio doesn't really synergize with Mercy that well. Figure she's gonna be up in the air floating around all the time. If people start shooting at her, you can't really help her out as Lucio, but you can help her out as Zen by tossing her a Harmony. So... Anything else?
Move back.
Alright, I don't have res.
Alright, I'm moving on then.
Roger.
If you have more questions, feel free to ask.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
Translocating.
Alright, let's talk about defense, I suppose. There are a few ways to run defense here. It's so weird you can't double jump after doing that. God, I hate that. This is another map where I really like Sombra. I just really like Sombra.
Yeah, it's just fun to play.
She's also like really powerful right now.
Yeah, she's kind of broken. So, on defense, I kind of like a modified dive again. So, the standard way of doing it is you run Winston D.Va, and you plop them up here to be friendly to each other because it's a tiny little...
Where are you at?
I'm the Genji, so I'm up here, where I'm standing now. It's a tiny little ledge, so, and you're both fatties, so be nice to each other, try and make space. You can run, I'd say probably Sombra or Genji plus Widowmaker. So the Widowmaker and Mercy, and probably Zen here I'd say as well. So the Widowmaker and Mercy chill out up here.
I got hooked off. Sure.
So Widowmaker and Mercy chill out up here, and, you know, you got...
Did you say Zen up here too?
What's that?
Did you say Zen up here?
No, not Zen.
How was the gift there?
Nay. At the beginning, but...
So your tanks are going to be up there, which is your default hold position. Your Widow and Mercy are going to be up there. Your Sombra or Genji are going to be off in fuck-off land, doing whatever they feel like. And your Zen, there are a couple of places you could put him.
No one can hide.
There's
on my
a lot of
side.
rotation. So like, if you're taking an aggressive hold, maybe you could be like over here. I don't like it all that much. If you're taking a more defensive stance, I'd probably put you like up here. If you're taking a very defensive stance, you can even hide here in this little room. Or
I would never get old of
over
that.
here.
What about over here?
Where is over here?
Yeah, where Skimmer is, that's where I thought Zen was like usually holding
Can
it.
you emote?
Greetings.
So where are Genji and Sombra are right now?
Yeah.
I am not a huge lover of this. One, because there isn't that much cover for you. So like,
It's not really sight lines either.
yeah, you can back up in here, but you lose all sight lines. Or you can sit over here and then you have sight lines, but you're totally exposed. There aren't also any health packs nearby for you. Like there's the Mega if you really go for a walk, but generally for Zen positioning you want to be somewhere with cover, somewhere with sight lines, and somewhere with a health pack. You can find all three of those things and you've got the perfect Zen spot. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. If you're running a Sombra, you know, you hack the Mega, and then you hack the other Mega, and you kind of let them come in wherever they're gonna go, and you find an exposed spot and you come and kill it. And that might require giving up some ground. So what a lot of teams will try and do is they'll like speed boost, triple tank or whatever through this Mega on the left here. Or the right, whichever position you're facing it from, the right side for us, for on defense. If that's hacked, it denies them a very powerful source of healing. Junkrat is also not a bad pick on this map. I wouldn't be opposed to running him here. Because you can, there are a lot of really spammy spots. You can get away with a static comp here. And I've seen it run to pretty good success multiple times. There's Treehouse comp, which I'm not a huge fan of, nor is Jane.
So if we were running a soldier, you'd want him up here where I am?
I
On the Pharah?
probably would not be running a soldier here, actually.
At all? Okay.
It would not be my first choice. All other things being equal, I would go with a Widowmaker
Gotcha.
over a soldier on this point. Because the sight lines
Okay.
are stupid long. And soldier has
Yeah.
range, but he doesn't have Widow kind of range.
Yeah.
What is the effective range of soldiers? Like 25 meters?
Yeah. Or I think that's his max.
Yeah, it's the fall
Or
range, right?
Fall off, yeah. That's basically this point in a nutshell. I don't think there's all that much more to say about it. Just find your targets
as a
and kill
team,
them.
we should really decide if we're gonna run dive here. Is that kind of like the plan? Do you guys think? I liked our static comp we were running last night, personally. Stick with the dive.
I don't know. Static never really works for us. I don't know. But we could try and run it more. I mean, build more synergy with it.
Wait, with static, you said?
Yeah, I like the Orisa Hog combo here. The Orisa Hog.
I am healed.
Yeah, so like the plat play for Orisa Hog on defense here is put it like here.
Yeah.
No one can hide.
The big brain play is put it up here. But you have to know that you're doing that beforehand because you've got all the nonsense with the May and the changing back with the Lucio. You got to be very quick about it.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say we could try that next timer screen.
Try what?
Putting the Orisa Hog up here with May.
Well, I don't think you go Orisa and Hog if you're going Treehouse.
Yeah,
like
you would
Orisa
drop the
and
Hog
Diva.
for Diva.
So we want to do Orisa Diva?
Yeah.
Which is a weird ass comp. I know.
Yeah.
Diva can contest point and like also fly back up.
Yep.
Alright.
But I don't love that comp because it basically relies on your Widowmaker's ability to click heads. So if your Widowmaker fails to click heads, the whole thing falls apart. So alright, next point. Oh, actually, let's just talk about this on attack real quick. So, personally, it's a little bit cheesy, but for 2 CP, I really like attacking with triple tank and just steamrolling through. There are a couple of ways we can do it, though. So you can run your modified dive, and that's going to be with a Widowmaker and a Mercy, or a Pharah and a Mercy, but I really like Widowmaker here. Or both, even, actually. So many options, dude. But Widowmaker wants to end up here with the Mercy blue beaming her, obviously. And then you can run your Monkey and Diva and walk them through. Pick a direction, play caller, whoever that is. Pick a direction to move through. And then follow it, find your target. So you can rotate through. I liked the plan you had here to rotate through and get to this Mega, but you really want like a Lucio with that. Speed Jane.
Was that us or was that with Jane?
I don't know if that was with Jane. I don't know who. I do remember seeing it though. This team.
Hey,
No, it was before.
why did Jane play with you guys? That was awesome. I wasn't here, man.
Yeah.
How did he
Because
get
we're actually
here?
all GMs.
We just asked for like a DPS player and he just offered.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, you find your dive target, whoever it may be, and you get them. You kill them. We've covered how dive works multiple times already.
Wait, how does dive work again?
I think you're joking.
I am joking. I'm honestly. Please don't answer.
So you can run Sombra here, you can run Pharah here, you can run Widowmaker here, you can run Genji here. You could even get away with a Tracer, though. Well, you could go with the Tracer here. I'm not sure if she'd be my first pick here. Am I forgetting anything? So yeah, personally...
Bucket set. Never mind.
Personally, I like triple tank. I think it's very powerful, and it's very difficult to counter. For that, you would run like Ryan, Zarya, Lucio, Moira, maybe a Eva, or a Hog, and like a Soldier or a Junkrat. Or Widowmaker, actually. Widow. Nah, probably not Widow. I don't know. Probably Soldier. Or Junkrat. I'd say Junkrat. Anywho, and then you just like pick a direction and you speed through and you just stomp everything that tries to come and kill you. Next point.
With the triple tank, yeah.
And you play as a tightly knit mass. By the way, this is how Death Ball works, right? You have to be in a ball, and like, if somebody goes off on their own little adventure somewhere, then they're dead. Because your Moira's not going to be able to help you, your Lucio isn't either, and it all falls apart. So basically it's a game of follow the Reinhardt. So the Reinhardt finds a target, picks a target, and everybody kills the target. Same concept as Dive, just a little bit meatier. Anywho, if we're on defense here, I like Dive defense for this point. So, the same thing really as I mentioned before with the Widow and the Mercy, and the Zen, and the Monkey and the Diva, and the Sombra or whatever. So where you want to position, if you have the time, is much like on that first point with that stupid little ledge. You want to put your tanks up here where I'm standing right now. Because as I mentioned before, you have the opportunity to zap them as they're coming through the choke. You can drop down on them, you can leap away, you can do whatever the hell you feel like. What else? What else? You want to put... Your Widowmaker probably is going to be chilling up here, where I'm standing right now. You could probably trade Widow for another DPS here, depending on what they're running. What's that? Oh, yeah. You see me?
Yeah.
Can we run on second point Reaper? Defense?
I very much dislike Reaper. I think he's kind of a shit hero. He's slightly better after the buff, but he's still kind of a shit hero. There's basically...
Should we run Junkrat on this point?
Junkrat is not terrible.
I see a lot of
Reaper basically does the same thing as Junkrat does, but worse.
Yeah.
So I like Junkrat better.
I feel like Reaper's a little more controlled than Junkrat.
Well, not if you can aim.
Yeah.
But,
So, what will look like the comp for defense here?
I'd say your standard boilerplate would be the same defense as you had on the first point. So, Monkey, Diva, Mercy, Zenyatta, Widowmaker, Sombra, but the Sombra can be changed for like a Genji, could be changed for on this point actually a Tracer is not bad. A Junkrat isn't bad either, I like Junkrat. You can trade the Widow for a Junkrat too. Just make sure that you have a hit scan for running Pharah, because this is not a bad Pharah map.
Yeah.
And again, if you're running a Sombra, you want to take control of those megas.
Who likes to play Sombra here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do our DPS like specialize in? So like, what do you play a lot, Gambit?
I play Soldier, Tracer, Junkrat. I can play Reaper if need be. I haven't practiced Sombra that
Gambit's muted himself.
No, he hasn't. We can hear him.
Wait,
Yep.
what? Am I
can't
muted?
hear him. That's weird.
Oh, I can hear Gambit.
It's a Discord bug again.
Okay. Let me leave and come back.
Okay, so you're like You're like hit scan with Junkrat.
Exactly. And no
So then-
projectiles.
So then, what does Unicron play?
I play Soldier, Pharah, Genji, Sombra.
Okay, so you could be like our,
Junkrat.
so you could be like our projectile with like Sombra, and he could be like DPS. I mean, hit scan.
Mhm.
All
We're
right,
the
let's go.
switch specialists.
Yeah. Hey, what are we supposed to tell people when how they have fun?
And then for Zen, you want to like stick him back here, Lucio Widow are up. Mercy Widow are up here, and tanks are up there. And your other DPS is wherever the fuck they feel like it. Easy clap. Any questions?
Nope.
Makes sense.
Can we
I like
actually
it.
go over first point again a little bit? So,
Sure.
I'm kind of getting distracted by all the getting
Yeah,
pushed off
same.
the high ground and translocators. And,
So what was the comp that we want to run on defense again? I forgot. Sorry.
We're saying dive, I think.
Dive. Okay.
I think that's a stronger choice here.
Mhm.
So,
and is then what I like hang out over here? Or
where are you?
Although do you remember the game we had on Anubis last time that we got wrecked?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They were doing static comp and we couldn't do anything with normal dive. But that was.
I think that was more of like coordination, not like.
Excuse me for
Yeah, that was just meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I also don't want to like jump into static comp.
Right back. See you later.
Yeah, we'll just get fucking melted.
Basically, you just
We need to like set up a crossfire. I don't know if they're like static, right?
The counter to counter dive is by diving better.
Interesting.
Or just like get good.
Basically.
Okay, so basically there's gonna be Monkey Diva and some form of like Widow,
I might need this later.
Tracer, or like Junkrat, Widow, something like that.
For defense?
Yeah,
Maybe I should type
I think
this
on
up for you
defense.
guys.
yeah. I was trying to type it up
Had,
so I can like
Tracer's not as good
remember.
on first point.
Maybe we could just like make like an Excel document with like all the maps and like all the hero picks.
Okay. I mean, that-
I can do it like if you want me to.
I think images would be better.
Images?
Like images, kind of.
I mean, that's kind of what
You know
I was
Morse
trying to
code,
talk
Ham?
about here, but what?
You know Morse code?
Morse code?
Yeah.
Why?
I might need this later.
So I need it in Morse code.
Oh, okay.
I need mine
Whoa.
in a PDF format.
I was thinking about watching it back and just doing something like this. I'm gonna post in the Discord right now. It didn't come out super great, but because I can like upload it to like Google Drive or something or look better.
Coming up.
I'll upload my recording of this little discussion. Okay. Anything else?
Beacon.
I don't think so, not on this map.
Like map design and walkthroughs and stuff, I think.
What's
I mean,
that?
honestly, I'm still not sure like where to set up for Zen on first point. Like,
Okay.
am I setting up pillars or
It
under-
depends.
Back left, dude.
Later.
Right here.
So if you stick yourself here, it's not a terrible spot. It's a little bit of a solo queue spot, and you have to be very mindful of using the pillars for cover because everybody loves running Widow here. So you're very vulnerable to a Widowmaker up there.
right?
And basically the only contest you're gonna have for that Widow is your own Widow.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I don't like this point.
Be right back. See you later.
So pillars is one option. It's kind of a solo queue option. Another option is back here, where I am now. And you get
So you have that mini?
some sight lines, you have cover, you have a mini. Another option is over here. You don't have the mini, but you have longer sight lines and you have cover. Just be aware that, you know, your team needs to know where you are. And the last place I'd probably put you
I'm out of here.
is maybe up here. I actually kind of like this as a starting position.
Enemy
See where I am,
contact.
Depen?
Yeah.
If you start up here, you can retreat to any of those positions down low. If you need
Yeah.
to.
You can retreat to those positions down below. You've got the Mega up here. You're in view of your Mercy, who's going to be over across the way, pocketing your Widow.
You give the Mercy an escape also through the cross.
Yeah, so there are a lot of reasons to be up there.
So where will our dive tanks be then? Because I thought we were doing
We're
like
up here where you are right now.
Pilot is standing right now.
Okay.
So I like this area, like positionally, but like as far as like building ult, like I can't see shit from here until they like dive in. And like then they could also like rush high ground basically for free.
Well,
Be right
that's
back.
not entirely true, right? You've presumably got a Widowmaker who's going to deny them that freedom. But, ultimately it's more important that you stay safe than land shots.
Clearing the area.
It would be nice if you could land shots, but I prefer to have you safe.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like you have no view of the map here, right? Like, if they start pushing left side, you're gonna have to move. But if they go in on this right side, you have completely full view. If they go through main, you have view.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, I promise.
It's all good. I'm
I'm
okay.
out of here. What's this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to practice your leaps whiskey.
Do a lot of things, man.
Because sometimes you do this.
Yeah,
Like the edge.
got it.
Yeah, you do that. And then I'm up there alone and I get demec'd.
I might need this later.
Alright, 1 sec.
You're like, bro, let's die McCree.
Yeah, I was watching my the VOD from last night and just marking myself on it. That was,
Yeah, there was one where I thought I went in early, but you just missed the jump, and I'm like, oh.
well, we were starting too far back. At least we didn't reach that
Yeah. That's fine.
far. Should have walked.
That's something we can easily fix.
Or let's just talk to Jeff Kaplan and get him to change the fucking dive comp.
There was
Well, he's trying to with Bridget.
That's never going to change as long as map design has high ground.
Little did he
another
know.
really sneaky thing you can do, if you're looking for a long flank, as Genji or Winston or Diva or whoever, and you're on attack, you can come through this room with the Mega here.
Yeah, through the window.
Yep, and you can go out
Yeah.
through the window, and now you're behind them.
All right.
Think about getting them crossfires in.
Oh, that could be a neat way to get, like, if they had high ground, like a Widow up there.
Yeah, like if they're bullying you with their Widow or whatever, that's an excellent way to get to her without really being contested. I mean, they'll probably know that you're going this way,
Excuse me for
but
Yeah.
it really denies Widowmaker an opportunity to get a good sightline on you. Like, she can come to the corner here and see you, I guess, but if you just keep moving quickly, you make it harder for her.
Yeah.
All right. Makes sense.
Anything else?
I like it, but dude.
On attack, you said triple tank, or
Well,
Yeah.
I like triple tank. You can also run dive.
I'm a huge triple tank fan.
So with triple tank, we would just like move in really fast, like Lucio, right? And just
Yeah. So
like
you
come
would-
out one of these sides and just like bash into them, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it kind
Or
of depends on what
Jared,
they're
come
running.
on in point.
Yeah.
It depends on what they're running, but I would say, you know, come out with Lucio, you move as a ball, death ball, and you can take your pick, right? You can go up top right, go take control of that Mega. You can go in left side, but that's very dangerous if they're running something like a Symmetra or a Junkrat, because he can spam you down. or you can go down middle and just barrel through to the point, because they're gonna have to contest you sooner or later. And then you can just kind of bully them. And I would say don't stop for anything until you've reached the point where you wanted to be in. Just move as a unit. And I would also say be very careful about using your amp. I personally do not like amping speed. There are some instances where it is acceptable, but on the whole, I would much prefer to save it for heals.
Gotcha.
Because it's on a very, very long cooldown, so you really need to you need to exercise discretion when utilizing amp.
I am healed.
But what about if they're chasing down a dive target? Would you still want to save amp in that case?
Only if you had no chance of catching that dive target without amp.
Okay.
Enemies here. I might need this later.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's
I don't think so.
all I have.
So it's 10:30 now. I'll give you guys a choice. We can call it early, or we can do maybe one more map or some VOD review, whatever you like.
Did we talk about attacking B?
I believe we did, but if we didn't, we can do that now.
We might have. Were you saying something about a Reinhardt?
Well, if you're running triple tank, can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Unicron died.
No, I gotta head out.
Oh, okay. Bye, Unicron.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, if you're running triple tank, it's kind of just run your fucking death ball down whichever direction you decide on, and get to your objective. There's not really a whole lot to say about it. And if you're running dive, find a target and dive on them. There's not much more to say about it than that. Like, we've discussed how dive works. We've discussed how death ball works.
So, what route do you think would be most optimal? Like, kind of how we did with Jane, where we come up on this right side, and then we dive over here on the right, where the supports are usually at?
It's not a bad choice, because, like, Zenyatta, he was mentioning this today on stream as well, I think. Zenyatta likes to hold here. This is a good place for Zenyatta to be. The problem with Zenyatta being here is that it's extremely predictable, because all the Zenyatas like to be here, because it's a good place to be. So it stops being a good place to be when their dive tanks come this way and just hop over and land on you because they know you're going to be standing here. So you gotta mix it up a little bit occasionally, and sometimes that might even mean taking an inferior position.
I'm out of here.
No, I'm talking about like an attack, like when we're attacking.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
So for attack, is there an optimal way? Not really. The optimal way is the way that you feel like going and the way that they allow you to go. So like, you know, if they have, I don't know, if they have a Junkrat, right? He's gonna be able to contest you pretty hard coming through dark over you. A lot of good spamming opportunities. If they have a Reinhardt, he can block off main pretty hard. You know, you have to move through him somehow. Or if he's like holding on point, he's gonna make it very difficult for you. If they have, I don't know, a fucking Torbjorn over here, I don't know.
There's no right answer is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it totally depends, and ultimately it kind of just comes down to whichever way you're feeling. You can also work out like funky pathing, right? You don't have to go directly from point A to point B. You can say, okay, we're gonna go left side to the mini. We're gonna, god damn it. We're gonna go left side to the mini. We're gonna draw their aggro, then we're gonna rotate through Mega and pull to the right side or something.
Right.
You know,
Alright.
like there are a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different ways you can fool around with it, and that's again something that you kind of feel out with practice. I think this is
Gotcha.
probably a good place to call it for tonight.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Good talk. I will upload this to the YouTubes
I'm
momentarily.
about to play some comp if anyone wants in.
Sadly, I need to play with some IRL friends because they're bitching at